So, Keith, in what you said a few moments ago about what happens in Odyssey 8 after Odysseus, weeping as he does, as he hears the story about the end of Troy, when he, weeping, is compared to how a woman would weep when she is taken captive, when her husband is killed, and when she is essentially facing the most horrific life of degradation at the hands of the enemy. Here is the king of the Phaeacians trying to figure out why Odysseus weeps. And we're trying to figure out why he is compared to a captive woman who looks very much like Andromache. Right. And here it is. He asks innocently, tell us why you're weeping and lamenting. What is it to you? Did you live through the story of Troy and the story of the terrible things that happened in the final moments of Troy? Well, yes.
In fact.
In fact, he lived through it, except that he wasn't technically on the suffering side. He was on the side of inflicting the suffering. And then it's almost like a segue to the Iliad, where Alkinoos asks, or was it perhaps a comrade who was well aware of the things that were most pleasing to you? Did somebody like that die? And he then finishes, for not any less prized than your own brother is a comrade who is well aware of things you think about. Well, the comrade would be Patroklos, and now it's an exploration of the kind of pain that Achilles experienced. So Odysseus will have to come back to, no, it's not that kind of pain, it's another kind of pain. But I love the way in this passage in the Odyssey, as Odyssey Rhapsody 8 is winding up, you have such clear references to not only the major things that happened to Odysseus in the Trojan War writ large, but also to Achilles. And here is where then Odysseus will be at the crossroads. Well, he'll have to tell his story, and it will happen very soon after this. Here we are at the end of Rhapsody 8. By the time we get to Rhapsody 9, Odysseus will tell his Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking too, Odysseus did in fact lose his comrades because of the things that he did, where Demodokos' song left off, more or less.
It's so true.
He incurred the wrath of Athena, and she began to plan destruction for Odysseus and his crew.
And in the end, let's think about the fact that the only survivor, by the time Odysseus gets home to Ithaca, the only survivor, when you think of all the ships and all the warriors who were on the ships, the only survivor is Odysseus himself. There's not a single comrade who makes it back alive to Ithaca. He's the only one. Contrast that with Achilles. Achilles, the alienated hero of the Iliad, the one who has a very hard time reconnecting with his comrades in arms. But if you think of it long term, at least in his case, he does save the Achaeans with the active help of Patroklos, who dies in his place, but then he contributes a great deal by what he does afterwards. Okay, he's not the engineer of the final victory, but he is, with Patroklos, the one who saved the Achaeans from certain destruction. And now, look what's happening. I love your observation, Keith. It's so true. When it comes to comrades, at least Achilles saved his comrades. Odysseus can't save a single one.